Well, good morning, everybody. This RealVitalize that we've been going to train about today is I think it's going to be a real great asset for you, both from being able to help your clients out, but also gain more listings. I'm really excited about this, and we'll get into that in a few minutes here. I'm going to do a real quick, short update today, and then for next week's class, I'll dive into more of the brokerage, full brokerage update. So then we'll do more then. So Tom, you could give me the next screen. Oh, this is awesome. I mean, they say timing is everything. Having this class, we planned this class probably 6 months ago, so we got kind of lucky. But to do the forms class after all these major Northwest multiple forms just came out, it really is awesome. And she will do an excellent job of going over this in detail for all you. And it's a clock hour class. It's free, and there's zero reason why you don't want to be on it. So make sure you sign up for that. Next screen, Tom. And this is our events page. You'll cbdanforth.com/events. You can go on there and sign up for any of our events. So make sure you bookmark that. And lastly, I want to remind everybody we had our referral contest going on. This is we have $300 monthly prizes. We have a condo in Chelan for a week, and then we have the all-paid trip to New York City, condo, flight, and Gen Blue. So that's it's going to be awesome. And we're going to be giving out our next award at the Annie class for last month. Whoever won the second month of this contest. So that'll be fun. But just keep that in mind. And another thing I want to remind you of, if you have a friend or a friend broker out there who you think would be a good fit at our brokerage, and maybe they would want to go see Annie next week. So the class is open to all brokers, and it's free clock hours for everybody. So it's really kind of a no-brainer. So feel free to invite the brokers out there you think would enjoy the class. And lastly, make sure you use the Q&A button for any questions. I'm sure there'll probably be lots of questions about this program. So the Q&A button's at the bottom of your screen, and let's get going. Let's do it. So Angela, I want to introduce Angela. She is heading up the RealVitalize training for us today, and Lauren will be in the background with the Q&A. So can I get Angela on the screen?
I'm here.
Awesome. I'm going to change my view. Thanks so much for being here. I'm really excited about having you here. And I know I've got a lot of feedback from our brokers already, how excited they are. In fact, some of them were asking me, the last couple of months because they heard about it beforehand and they want this program. So thanks for being here. I'm going to go ahead and jump off. And then if you need me at all, I'll be right here. Just let me know.
All right. Thank you, Dave and Tom and Kendra and Kevin and all of CB Danforth for having me here today. Good morning and happy St. Patty's Day. Welcome to our RealVitalize Q&A session. My name is Angela Tsai, and I'm the Senior Manager of Engagement Strategy with Consumer Products at Realogy. And I'm joined by my colleague, Director of Consumer Products, Lauren Wender. She is going to be overseeing the the Q&A. So if you've got questions, just load it in there and she can answer them for you. We'll also have Q&A at the end of our presentation. So I'm really here to make it as easy as possible for you to use this amazing tool we have called RealVitalize. It is a game-changing program. It is the most consumer-centric of its kind, and we want your clients to be able to take full advantage of this opportunity. Now, I will say I'm coming to you from New Jersey. You are all in basically one of my favorite places in the whole country. I used to live in Seattle, still have family there. I lived in Vancouver as well. I absolutely love it. So I wish I was there with you. So today I'm going to be reviewing the program. I'm going to show you some of the results we've seen using RealVitalize in the past year and a half since we've launched. And I'm going to show you how to get started. It's really easy. So I will, again, open it up to Q&A afterwards. Feel free to load up questions in the chat for Lauren. So what is RealVitalize? RealVitalize is the opportunity to fix up your listing with no cash up front. That's right. This is the big value proposition. You're going to sell your home faster for a better price. Now, right now, this is an exclusive product offered to Coldwell Banker clients only, and there is no risk to you as the agent. There's no repayment risk to you as the agent. Coldwell Banker Corporate actually covers all those upfront costs, and we get paid back once that home sells. There's no hidden fees, no interest charges, no markups, and one of my favorite, and what we've seen is generally the favorite part of this program is that we are partnered with HomeAdvisor. HomeAdvisor is a national brand that dedicates a whole team of project consultants to work with RealVitalize clients. Bit about about HomeAdvisor. HomeAdvisor, again, is a national brand made up of over 200,000 screened and engaged service professionals, and they work across 500 service categories. They've got millions of verified ratings and reviews on the site. And again, HomeAdvisor gives what they call a happiness guarantee for the RealVitalize program. They dedicate only the top rated service professionals to work on RealVitalize projects. So you know you're going to get vetted quality service professionals who are going to help get those projects done on time, on budget. And they also have this additional project team to help along the way. These are just a handful of the HomeAdvisor project consultants that will work with you along every step of the way while you use RealVitalize. So some of our project consultants have backgrounds in construction management. Many of them have real estate or had real estate licenses. They completely understand the needs that you have day to day, the needs your seller has day to day. And again, they advocate for you, support you, schedule visits, keep everyone in communication. They are awesome. We get great feedback from our project consultants. There's an abundance of seller benefits by using RealVitalize. Again, we're going to maximize that selling price. We've got that potential quick sale. We know the market right now is gangbusters, but what we're seeing is using RealVitalize will help get that seller the highest price they can possibly get, given those home improvements are made. We're seeing fewer delays to closing. So imagine this is inspection scenario, right? You've got a buyer, but the buyer only wants to move ahead to the closing table if 10 things are done to the home, 10 repairs. So your seller is in a bit of a predicament at that point. Your seller can pony up the money to make all those repairs and then sell, or they might want to reduce the ask price and negotiate a fair price that makes both the seller and the buyer happy. But with RealVitalize, you actually have a third option. And that third option is you can make those repairs without any money up front. Those repairs are done at a fair market value and market price. And then the repayment of those home improvements will just come out of the equity of your home at closing. So again, the right partners make all the difference. And again, that's where we love HomeAdvisor. For the agents, we're also seeing a ton of agent benefits. You're going to have a real competitive advantage using RealVitalize for prospecting, using in your listing presentations. Again, this is the most consumer-centric tool, and I'll, excuse me, I will soon tell you why. There's no liens on the property, there's no credit checks for the consumer, and again, all of that capital is fronted for the consumer by Coldwell Banker Corporate. These listings sell faster. We have also seen that, again, listings sell at or above list price when using RealVitalize. Also, the agent can earn a higher commission. Now, how does that work? We've actually seen that agents earn about 10% more dollars in commission when using RealVitalize. Let's take, for example, a $700,000 sale price on a home. Now, without RealVitalize, the list side agent might be able to command, for instance, 2.5% commission. So that gets this agent $17.5 thousand in commission. Now we've seen with RealVitalize, agents are able to negotiate 0.2 to 0.25% higher. So with RealVitalize, that commission rate goes up to 2.75%, leaving them with an increase in commission by almost $2,000. So here, 10% more dollars in commission is made. Now, how does this happen? The seller's budget for RealVitalize, so the money that RealVitalize dedicates for the seller in order to make all these home improvements is equal to the list side commission rate of the agent. Now, I'm going to repeat this again and again. There is absolutely no risk to you as the agent. Your commission is not touched at all. This is the way Coldwell Banker Corporate will assess the risk that we're willing to take on this seller's home. So again, if we're going to go back to our case study here, if we've got a $700,000 listing, the list side commission rate is 2.75% with RealVitalize, giving that seller $19,250 in RealVitalize budget. So we do have a maximum cap for the budget, and that's $50,000. So it is a great service offering because the higher your commission rate, the higher the budget is for your seller to make home improvements. So we've seen some great results using RealVitalize. So 56% of homes using RealVitalize sell at or above list price. And 98% of the homes, 98% sell of list price. Homes using RealVitalize sell at more than 98% of list price compared to the rest of Coldwell Banker Realty, which sells at 96%. Agents, again, earn on average 10% more in commission, and 50% listings cancellation rates are reduced by more than half. Now, this is great because we're really creating a stickiness with the sellers, right? Your clients, if they're investing into the sale of their home, they are less likely to cancel that listing agreement with you. We actually got some very recent feedback. We just sent out a survey of all enrolled agents so far, and what we're seeing is fantastic. We are seeing that the majority of agents who have enrolled with RealVitalize tell us they actually used RealVitalize to win that listing. That is huge. Also, what we've seen is 1 out of every 5 enrolled agents have actually been able to negotiate higher commission rates in order to increase that budget, like we just talked about. Now, how have we seen agents use RealVitalize? We've seen the spectrum. So if you look all the way to the right from drab to fab, how many times have you walked into a home and you thought, okay, they have not touched this kitchen in about 45 years. This is what RealVitalize is made for. It's that kitchen or bathroom remodel. We can replace flooring, we update appliances, we can work on HVAC, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, you name it. On the other end, but by no means less important, are these finishing touches, right? To get that home show ready, you've got that deep cleaning, the power washing on the exterior, curb appeal enhancements, landscaping, of course, staging. And I will say staging is the most popular service that is requested through RealVitalize, right behind painting. Now, painting, if we look in this middle tier, this refreshed and ready middle tier is where we're seeing a lot of agents use RealVitalize. So, of course, don't underestimate what that fresh coat of paint will do to your home on the exterior and interior. Carpet cleaning, handyman repairs. Maybe you've got that honey-do list you never got to, and maybe you're trying to preemptively get those repairs done before inspection rolls around. This is what RealVitalize helps you with. Junk hauling. We get junk hauling a lot. We have a fun case down in Florida where a homeowner had an in-ground pool completely full of koi fish in their in-ground pool. They had started with 2, the 2 had multiplied, and suddenly they needed to sell their home. They needed to get rid of the fish, and HomeAdvisor found the appropriate vendor to help them do just that. And that was a RealVitalize project. So I want you to meet Susan Matthews. Susan is a Coldwell Banker agent in South Carolina. And with this listing, she essentially won this listing using RealVitalize. This listing was listed with another agent. It was sitting on the market for a bit. It had a few sporadic showings. It had 0 offers. So Susan walked in and she saw immediately that this was a perfect home for RealVitalize. What she did was change out the lighting fixtures to make it more modern. She replaced the hardware on the drawers and the cabinets. She, of course, refreshed everything with a nice bright neutral coat of paint. And she also staged it. She relisted the house on a Wednesday. Very next day, the sellers had an offer right in their hands. This is Joe from Northern California. This is an example of what just one RealVitalize project did for his listing. This listing sat for about a month, and he decided that It just wasn't showing well. He was going to do exterior painting and he wanted to choose the smartest color possible. So as you can see, this after shot looks completely different from the before. He relisted and this property sold over list price within a month. This is one of the luxury properties that is kind of fun to show because this is Southern California in Orange County. And this agent knew that this property really needed that certain wow factor. It already had the wow factor, but really to set it apart, he got all of the windows washed, which I think was like over 100 windows. It was a big job. He also got the interior staged appropriately. But what he had built specifically for this listing in order to show it was this spectacular wine room. He built this whole wall of glass to display the wine, and he did it in order to sell the home. So the home ended up selling 99% of its list price at $4.3 million. Rose Scalar is one of our top producing agents down in South Florida. I would say she's definitely one of our power users of RealVitalize. She's used the program over a dozen times. Right now, she's actually actively using it for 3 of her listings. Now, Rose is completely agile with using RealVitalize. She is so familiar with the program. She knows how to pitch it to her clients. She knows how to work with HomeAdvisor so that everything gets done streamlined, on time, and of course on budget. And what she's done is she has onboarded her own trusted service professionals. So not only does she know that RealVitalize gives her clients the ability to make all these home improvements, she knows that people that she trusts are going to be able to do that job for them as well. Again, HomeAdvisor only uses their top rated service professionals in your local market, but just know that that is also an opportunity for you. If you already know that you love a stager, you've got a contractor you've worked with for years, and you'd like to get that person or that business onboarded with HomeAdvisor, you can absolutely do that as well. Rose Scalar and her team are so good with using RealVitalize that they basically saved this one seller's home from, basically implosion. They said, well, they had a buyer bailing on closing day after he had moved his family out, and he needed that home sold right away. So fortunately, he found Rose and her team. And he said, using RealVitalize, they were precise, intuitive, on top of every detail, perfectly understanding of the relatively minimal but critically requisite steps to take to literally guarantee a fast sale without sacrificing $1 of potential revenue, even with our sense of urgency. And I will say, Rose, she again is a power user. She understands the program, and she also, again, has the help of the project consultant from HomeAdvisor, who again advocates and supports her and helps her schedule and time and communicate every step of the way. So how does RealVitalize work? It's very simple. You need an active listing agreement, right? So your client has to be a client of Coldwell Banker, Danforth. Both your seller and your brokerage have to sign this agreement. Once you send the agreement on through the online enrollment platform, then it'll come back approved, usually between 24 to 48 hours. The HomeAdvisor project consultant will reach out to you to start scheduling a visit for estimates. You'll start talking to them about the scope of work, your budget, everything. Once the seller approves the scope of work and the estimate, the work is completed with oversight from HomeAdvisor, and then you will take photos, list or relist the home. Once it sells, costs are deducted from the seller's proceeds. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because the timeframes can be highly variable depending on the scope of work as well as the type of work. But really, from what I just mentioned with enrollment all the way through vendor sourcing, it's not going to take more than, we've seen, 5 business days to get everything moving. Again, HomeAdvisor as well as the project consultants, they understand all of the constraints you're working with and the time frame that you're working under. Things that are good to know about RealVitalize. There's no minimum project cost to participate. We have covered projects literally from $50 all the way to our maximum cap of $50,000. There's no minimum or maximum home prices. We don't do credit checks. We've used RealVitalize for listings all the way up to 11 million so far. We've got no fees, no interests, no markups, no obligation to complete work ever. So this means if you enroll your seller and HomeAdvisor sends over a few vendors to give estimates, if the seller says, oh, I don't like the estimates, or I'm ready to just show the house, I don't need to do work, absolutely fine. Again, no obligation to complete the work. There's no liens placed on the property. Now, most properties are eligible for RealVitalize except financially distressed situations. So sellers can't be in bankruptcy. The homes can't be bank owned or in foreclosure or under short sale. And finally, RealVitalize Title Group or an affiliate is required for sellers in seller controlled title markets to really just streamline that collection process at closing. We've talked about the different use cases. With your new listing, just to get that listing show ready to make sure that buyer appeal is at its maximum. You can use it for existing listings that have sat for a while and need that refresh. And of course, we talked about the inspection scenario. So RealVitalize really has given homeowners the confidence that they can just go for it, sell their home. Anything that does come up in an inspection scenario can be covered and won't have to be paid out of pocket. Services that we include. I think the question might be services we don't include. As you can see, we've done everything from staging to curb appeal enhancements, plumbing, the fish removal, as I talked about. So what we do not cover are moving and storage. So RealVitalize will not take liability over someone's personal belongings, and we do not cover structural work. So structural work, for example, would be putting in an in-ground pool, or adding an addition to a home, or replacing the roof. However, we could do repairs to a roof, considering. So if you have any questions about what, if a project that you're looking at is deemed structural, that's a great question for HomeAdvisor. Got a lot of marketing assets for you. We've got postcards, flyers, and express docs, emails and InTouch, and social media under Brand Serve. We also have RealVitalize promo videos. Excuse me. And to enroll is very easy. You just go to desk and find that RealVitalize tile. Please definitely look at that blue resources link on the corner of that RealVitalize tile, because that link is where you're going to find all of the participation documents and the applications, as well as some how-to guides and other helpful guides for you. Again, you're going to have to sign your seller and your brokerage is going to have to sign the participation agreement. And then once you enroll, I'm going to go back to this slide. Once you're ready to enroll, you just click right on the RealVitalize desk tile right in the middle, and it'll bring you to our online enrollment platform. And that's where you'll upload these documents. All right. Well, that's pretty much my presentation. I'm so glad that I'm able to introduce this program to CB Danforth today. And if you have any questions whatsoever, definitely email us. Our email is realvitalize@realogy.com. We have a whole customer support team, and they're awesome, and they're ready to answer any questions you have. If you have anything that's more for HomeAdvisor, once you get into that process, that information is also here. And then, of course, with RealVitalize Title Group, with the TRG affiliates, that can be coordinated with this email. But for sure, the most important for your purposes right now, as you're getting started, would be realvitalize@realogy.com. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share, and I'm going to see if, I see there's a bunch of Q&A. I know Lauren is also here, and we can go through and answer some of these. So we have a question here, an open one. Which consultant does Washington State? Are you Hilaire? Are you talking about project consult? Oh, the project consultants, HomeAdvisor project consultants. Yeah. I'm not used to the webinar. I'm used to hearing people. We have all of our project consultants are centrally located. So none of them are actually on site per se, but they're the ones coordinating all of the vendors and all the contractors for you. So I'm not sure which of our consultants actually covers Washington State, but again, that is actually all on desk. We have like a portfolio of the project consultants on there for you. How do us agents protect ourselves during this process with RealVitalize? Stephen asks. Lauren, do you want to take that one? I mean, basically, there is no repayment risk to the agent.
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Angela?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm also answering these in the chat as we're talking about them so that agents can refer back in writing. But yes, as Angela mentioned, there is no risk to you as an agent to offer this program. That said, Coldwell Banker is fronting the money. You will absolutely get paid your commission. We're not taking your commission if we don't get paid. However, your broker is absolutely taking risk on this. So it is imperative that you make sure that this is a great opportunity for your seller. We want everyone to get the maximum that they can out of the program. We want this to be a really great experience for your sellers to leverage the program. That said, a great opportunity for you to kind of workshop that settlement worksheet or just kind of have that discussion around equity to ensure they will be in a good place at the end of the day to pay back the program. If it does turn to bad debt, so in the case where they just cancel or they go 12 months and it doesn't sell or anything like that, it is the broker's risk to pay back to us, and then they will have to collect from the seller. So I want to just highlight that we don't want that situation to arise. We want that to be minimized as much as possible. However, I just wanted to call your attention to it so that we're ensuring we're having those conversations necessary to put the program and your brokerage in the best possible place. Angela, I think you're on mute potentially.
I am very potentially on mute. Tony asks, how did he do 3% of 4.3 million to do the wine room if the cap was 50,000? Well, Tony, that wine room, it was actually the one wall made of glass. Everything from the power washing of the windows to the staging and the wine room, it all came under 50,000 actually, which was amazing. And the question we get a lot is, well, what if the repairs we want and the services the seller wants to do goes over the RealVitalize budget? And the answer is that the seller is welcome to pay that overage out of pocket. Is there any more detail beyond that, Lauren?
No, that's exactly right. So two things is if the amount of services goes over the budget, you can increase your list side commission to cover that overage and project cost, but we will never go over that $50,000 mark. So if their project costs do exceed $50,000, they would have to pay out of pocket for the overage. They can always pay out of pocket for any overage if they prefer not to increase your commission. But we hope that helps you have that conversation to earn a little bit more money.
Absolutely. Danielle wants to know, Lauren, what if the house doesn't sell?
Yes, I love this question. And this is, good for everyone to hear. That's why I didn't want to just churn through quickly all of the questions that were asked, because these are great discussion points. So if the home doesn't sell, or if the seller cancels or allows their listing agreement to expire, I think I mentioned before, your broker is on the hook to pay back the program. That said, your broker can absolutely take the necessary next step. What we have done while this has been live on the company operations, we just let the seller know that this is an amount that is typically they're very aware that they've used an amount of money to fix up their listing, because they are the ones approving the work to begin and be completed. So we've had very little problem letting them know that they have to pay it back, and then they do so. They typically just write us a check and reimburse us. Your broker would be in the same position. He would just ask them, for the repayment of the money that is due, and your broker would pay back the program on their behalf.
Lauren, can you go into a little bit more detail about the title requirement for CB Danforth?
Oh, yeah, sure. So the Realogy Title Group is our affiliate. They are our partners in offering this program, and they help us to minimize the risk associated with offering RealVitalize. So they are integrated within our operational workflows to help us collect upon closing. There is a requirement for these listings to close with a Realogy Title Group affiliate. And we can send you that link if you don't have it, so you know exactly who that will be. But they help us to make sure that we show up at closing, that we are delivering all the invoices. All of that work is not on you as an agent. We just ask that you tell us when the home is going to sell, and we will do the legwork to get the invoices there to collect back at closing. So because they help minimize the risk, we do require their use in the program, and we'll leverage their operational team to take on that effort instead of you.
And this mandates escrow as well. And in terms of the affiliate for CB Danforth and around that area, what is that title group? Do we know that, Dave?
I think it's WFG. Is that right? What we need to do is we get a list of the locations and the title and escrows that are available for our agents, because they have to use them. So it's a really important list that they'll have to have, and we'll have to make that available to them.
Yep, we can do that.
And the question Jim has, does this replace the CB Danforth concierge program? Which I actually don't know much about. I'm not sure if someone else can speak to that.
I'll let Dave answer.
Yeah, that'd be me. And we have just kind of stepped away from the concierge program, and this is a great replacement for it. This is not it's not a like kind replacement. It's just a different opportunity. And I don't even know what Roy's doing anymore. He moved down to Mexico. He may still be running his concierge program, but it's not affiliated with us anymore. So the concierge program went away a couple of years ago, and I love this program as a potential substitute for some of that.
Okay, great. Okay, so Jennifer, you actually probably just tried to go on the enrollment. Coldwell Banker Danforth is not on the list. Yes, we are going to add that. That is very, very key, and we will be adding that to the enrollment form. To confirm.
Yeah, I got an update on that. As everyone knows, if you don't have the resource tab on desk, it should be available. I guess it's like a slow rollout. It is live, but I guess each individual has access differently. So you may get it now, or you may get it in 2 hours, but they said within a 4-hour window, everyone should have it. So we should be in a good place on the desk app access and that application.
Awesome. And then Susan asked to confirm the amount of RealVitalize budget cannot exceed the amount of the agent's commission, of the list side agent's commission rate. That is correct. Well, this is an interesting question. Lauren, what if they are in the middle of a listing and already have a different title company?
That they do have to, so if it's a RealVitalize, well, if it's a RealVitalize property, they do have to close with Realogy Title Group. I'm not sure what the specific circumstance would be, which is why they started with a title company. But if they want to use the program, they will have to agree to use our title company for collection.
Yeah, the title and escrow is really key to this. Is the escrow part of it, especially, is to make sure that the bill gets collected and paid back to Coldwell Banker. So that's one of the absolute keys, and having that escrow group be part of that is and part of the Realogy family, I think will make it happen more.
Pam is asking, how is money collected if the amount is over agreed to? Oh, so if there's an overage, I think that's what Pam is asking. If there's an overage in maybe the project costs beyond the RealVitalize budget, what we're saying is that the seller is going to have to pay HomeAdvisor directly with that overage. Is that correct, Lauren?
Yes, they can. They would pay. So the way the payments typically work is we give the service provider a down payment, so like 30% up front, and then they get the rest once the work is complete, like 70%. If there is an overage amount, then the seller would pay HomeAdvisor that direct amount, you know, with credit card or whatever it might be. They can pay HomeAdvisor directly. Once the work is completed, then Coldwell Banker reimburses HomeAdvisor for the amount that's covered through the program. So in the case that there's an overage, HomeAdvisor would get an amount from Coldwell Banker to cover the up to the project budget, and the seller would owe the amount, you know, out of pocket or with a credit card, et cetera, directly to HomeAdvisor.
Great. And Christina is asking, who oversees the work? So that's a great question. It is up to the agent or the seller, how whoever's on the ground wants to oversee the work. The project consultant, like we said, is centrally located. So for where you guys are, your project consultant might actually like physically be located somewhere else, but they're the ones communicating with all of the vendors to make sure that everyone understands scheduling and assignments and commitments and everything. But I would say, you know, that is something that the agent and the seller needs to come to an agreement on in terms of who is on hand looking after the actual work and managing that. Is there anything else beyond that, Lauren?
Nope, I think you answered it right. That's exactly it. Your project consultant is your advocate. So they'll advocate for your seller, they'll advocate for you. They want to be your partner if there's, you know, a question on how much the bid is, or, you know, someone's not showing up on time. Leverage them to have that conversation with the service pro. They are absolutely there to support you and your seller. But yes, the boots on the ground, you are the agent of the program as far as boots on the ground. So if it's a vacant property, a lot of times agents like to be that person who's on site. If it's, you know, the seller is there, usually they can let people come in and out. The seller will be the one to approve that work was completed with quality before we release that final payment to the service provider.
Great. And Angela asked, just to verify, the brokerage, not the individual listing broker, is at risk if the seller doesn't close. And that is correct. Yes, the individual listing agent is not at all risk for repayment. And then Jim wants to know, do you have to use HomeAdvisor vendors? Can you use your own vendors? So Jim, what you can do is if you as the agent have, if you have a trusted service professional that you like to use, you love this one painter, you love a contractor that you've used for many of your own projects even, if you can vouch for them and their quality, then you can onboard them into the HomeAdvisor RealVitalize network. So there is an onboarding process. Again, that is also accessible on desk through the RealVitalize tile, where you can onboard your own vendors. That one case study I showed you, Rose Scalar down in South Florida, all of her projects are done with her own trusted service providers that have been onboarded into the RealVitalize program. So everything is done through RealVitalize. She just knows she's getting the people that she knows. So the onboarding process for your vendors, they'll have to go through a background check. They'll have to make sure all their licenses are up to date. They have to agree to participation terms and agreements with HomeAdvisor. And so once they can get through all of those steps, they're usually good to go. Again, it can take anywhere from 2 days to a week, week and a half. It also depends on how responsive your vendor that you're trying to onboard is with HomeAdvisor. So, you know, that can vary, but HomeAdvisor generally tries to get everybody onboarded as soon as they can, given they have the appropriate paperwork and everything. Do vendors need to pay a commission or fee to participate? I believe they do. I think, Lauren, you might have a little bit more information perhaps on the percentages.
Yeah. So great question. They do, like Angela mentioned, they do have to agree to the terms and conditions of the program, which include a background check and ensuring that they are vetted and licensed, insured, all of that in their respective areas. That said, the first time you use your vendor, we'll let them participate for free. HomeAdvisor will let them kind of try it before they decide to move forward. So if you have one project that you just want to use your painter for, absolutely go ahead and enroll your service provider. They will not be charged to participate. going forward. So if you would like to continuously use this one provider and they want to continue to source work from you and the program, then they will pay HomeAdvisor a 5 to 10% fee upon project completion. That's how they kind of fund the operational structure of the program for their project consultants. That fee is never in any way placed on the seller. It's never in any way placed on you as an agent, but it is payable from the vendor to HomeAdvisor to sort of source leads, right? It's kind of a lead model. But there's no annual cost for them to participate. They only have to pay if they accept and complete work on a property. So it's a pretty good deal for the vendor. Most vendors that have been recommended by agents absolutely love it. So I do highly recommend it. I think your service providers would thank you.
Yeah, and I will recommend, if you think you might be using RealVitalize, you know, and listings coming down the pipe, it would be good to preemptively onboard your service providers. That way they can be approved, they can be vetted, they can hit the ground running once you're ready to hit the ground running. Susan wants to know if RealVitalize will cover septic or drain field repairs. We get this question a lot, right, Lauren? Oh
yeah, yeah. So what I'd say is like anything in the gray area, like for example, septic repair, is determined on site. So if you have a situation where you're not sure if RealVitalize would cover it because of the structural nature of the work, what I would say is still go ahead and enroll it. We can absolutely, and I would say like probably 80% of the time, we can find a way to help in some way. So for example, if we can help their costs with sourcing permits, or, you know, replacing the lawn after it's been dug up, or whatever the other ancillary things might be, we can cover those costs if the actual work is deemed structural. Now, that said, sometimes septic work is structural and sometimes it's not. So like if we're like ripping out the septic and it's gonna, you know, cause the whole yard to collapse, it's not something that we'll pay for. If it's not, if it's, you know, we have to plug a leak or something along those lines, we absolutely can cover it. So we will send somebody out, they'll do the evaluation. We will be very transparent as far as here's what we can include in the program and here's what we can't. But typically we're able to kind of help sellers in some way, shape, or form. That's our goal.
Hey, Lauren, is there a definition of structural? I mean, I never think of septic being structural at all. I just never
Yeah, that's a good question, Dave. What we kind of go by is anytime there's integrity issues. So any kind of integrity issue with a lawn or retaining wall, or even a home, like we won't touch foundation issues. We won't build an in-ground pool, right? We won't add an addition or anything like that. So anytime there's like a structural impact to the yard or to the home, it's not something we cover. But typically I'd say like we get asked about something structural, like, you know, once a month maybe, and there's usually a way that we can try and help in some way. So the general answer is we just use that to like protect ourselves in case, you know, we can't cover something that is like we'll even do a full renovation, right? So sometimes you would think of that as structural, like ripping out cabinets could be considered like a structural component, but it's not. Like with those things we can all help with. It's just a matter of like, you know, relocating walls or fixing the major foundation cracks. Those types of things like are a liability concern, so we won't touch those.
It seems to me that we'd want to avoid as a broker things that need the building permits.
Yeah,
for the most part, because the timing around here for building permits is abusive, actually, from the cities and the counties.
wow.
It takes forever, and I think that's the time is not the favor of this whole program. I mean, you want to get things kind of done, right? And then if it takes 6 months or a year to get something done, that's not going to work very well. So to me, it'd be like structural would come down to permitting. I mean, I think it was a drain. For septics, it's usually drain fields. The drain fields aren't built on places that are going to fall in or anything like that. So that would, to me, that wouldn't be structural. That'd be something that would probably work real well for this program. And I don't even know if I don't even know if you need permits for that or not. But I'd say as a brokerage, you want to really kind of stay away from when you have to get the building department involved too much.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. great.
I'm pretty sure we covered everything in the Q&A. Does anybody have anything else you can type in real quick? And if I will send Dave a follow-up email that he can forward on to everybody with a lot of the information we covered and then ways to contact us. But yeah, thank you so much for having us today.
And a list of all the title companies in our area too. It'd be great.
Yes, we will do that for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you guys did a great job. I think it made it real clear for us, and we'll see how it works. This market's so hot right now. I kind of wondering, you know, as far as the how much usage is going to get, and I'm really optimistic that it will get used a lot, because I think for cleanups and for people who have properties that they don't have the wherewithal to do something, this is where it's really going to pay off, and we're going to be able to really add value to those clients. To do the front yard work, or like you said, clean out a house type of maybe even a hoarder type situation where they can't get everything out, and you're able to help them do that. It could really be great.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Dave. And you know, even though this program seems like it's you know, maybe not the right market for it, what I would say is go ahead and prospect with it. Agents, go out there and you know, bang the drum of the program. Have this be your conversation starter. Call expireds, call canceled listings, whatever it might be. But this is a great conversation starter. So go ahead and use it in that way until the market shifts and people are interested in using the program's dollars. But it's definitely still a good marketing tool. So go ahead and use it in that way too.
That's a great point, because we're I mean, every agent, every broker in our area wants more listings. So I mean, if you have that conversation with them and get you started with it, whether they use the program or not, it doesn't matter if they list with you. So
that's right.
Great. Well, thank you all so much for having us. Yeah, and please let us know if you have any questions. RealVitalize@realogy.com. And yes, I'll be sending a follow-up email to you, Dave.
All right. Thanks, Angela. Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy St. Pat's Day, everybody. Bye-bye.